Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a bit of a deeper look at Gold Mythic Argus and just see how he technically works, just to see how everything works in terms of the animations as well. Visually you get to see it in a bit more detail. Visually on the right hand side you can see how he looked before, but now we can sort of see the gun animation. Looks pretty cool. Those gold Thompsons look really nice. We see the animation of the art on the left-hand side looking completely frenzied. He's getting shot at with the actual markers on the wall, as you can see behind him, but also he's trying to gun them down. He's got these big barrels on the Thompson, so can fire forever, apparently. It was drawn to my attention that there is a V on the barrel, and I think this is just a little nod to the fact that this is the War Season 5 character, so it's just a little nod there. The dragon motifs you can see in a bit more detail on the actual Thompson itself, on his jacket, and there is one on his gun belt, which you can see a bit on the right hand side, just on, like, I don't know what you want to call it, on like the little button part of it as well. If we look at his stats at Limit Break 3, level 1440, he has got a massive 36,043 attacks, so kind of in line with characters like Agent 46 and characters that were quite recently released. 16,104 defense and 24,540 HP. He is going to be an alert character, as we already knew. Damage roll as well, Gold Mythic, and he is going to be part of the Day 1 Allegiance. Now move on to the Adrenaline Rush. It is called Dead or Alive. It has got a recharge rate of 66 AP. 5 enemies get 10,000 bleed for 2 turns, plus 10,000 bleed for each dead enemy. Deal 500% damage to 5 enemies, plus 100% damage for each living enemy. Now, this was actually kind of questioned how it would work. We're going to look into it. We're going to attack with 1 enemy alive, with 5 enemies alive. But my guess is, if you manage to kill people with the second part of it, the bleed, because it comes in first, will still be however many were alive or dead, should it be the case, at the beginning of the rush. So if you kill 4 with the rush and then there's 1 alive, it would still be 10,000. But if there was 2 alive initially, then it would obviously be 40,000 to 2 enemies. So that's how it would kind of go. We're going to just test it out to see how it works, but this is quite unique. We've said it, talked about this before. This could potentially open the gates for some pretty interesting adrenaline rushes, signature moves, so on and so forth in the future, based on alive or dead opponents when the actual rush happens. I kind of like the idea here, and if this gets people to understand how it works, we could see some pretty cool ones coming out. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is against just 1 enemy still alive. We've got 4 enemies down. If we do the adrenaline rush, it should be a 500% hit, so nothing crazy on the actual hit, but the bleed should be tens and tens of thousands. So we're going to get the adrenaline rush off. It's going to hit for 500% plus 50,000 bleed for 2 turns. That's how it works if there's 1 alive. If we attack when there's 2 alive, we'll do that as well, just to show it out, and then we'll also do 5 alive. So now we'll attack when there's 2 alive, and it should just do a little bit more damage, but a little less bleed, but it'll be doing it to 2 characters. So we'll just do the rush again. This time it will do slightly more damage, but the bleed will go down to 40,000, but it'll be to 2 enemies instead. That's how it will be, and it will obviously scale down per enemy that's alive on the bleed, and scale up per enemy that's alive on the initial hit until we get to 5 enemies. And now we have 5 enemies alive, and we can just normalize someone if they're going to be a problem, because he will have a complete AoE rush. It will be a problem. Now we can do the adrenaline rush, and he should do a bit more damage when it comes to the actual hit. Obviously this is without things like defense down and stuff, which will be a big impact. If you manage to have someone who takes away bonus HP as well, you won't have to go through the bonus HP first. And there are some characters out there that can do that. I think quite early, I think it might be Madison. I'm not sure if it's on her adrenaline rush or signature move that she can remove bonus HP, but there are also characters like East Eva who can rush quite quickly. So there are some combos that you can get off when it comes to removing bonus HP quite nicely. No doubt some more bonus HP removal characters coming in the future as well. If we see the upgrades here, you can see at grade 3 it gets +2 to bleed target. So initially it's just 3 enemies getting 10,000 bleed for 2 turns, and then the extra bleed based on the enemy. And then at grade 5 it gets an upgrade where it deals 500% damage to 2 enemies, 100% damage for each living enemy. And then at Limit Break 2, you can see it gets an extra 3 targets. Now when you get this character, you're going to get all 5 characters at the same time. So this doesn't really matter too much on the grades. You're going to automatically get the character to LB3, so you'll get the rush as good as it can be instantly if you are attending Warrior Champions. So it's as nice as that. But that's how the upgrades go. I don't think it would be worth not upgrading it this far, because there could potentially be a reason why you wouldn't want to upgrade it this far, but I don't think there is on the Adrenaline Rush. LB2 seems like a very good idea to do. You're hitting more characters, you're doing more damage, so on and so forth. So his rush maybe doesn't look like it's spectacular when it comes to the overall damage it's going to do quickly, but if you manage to boost it up based on his Berserker, which he can get boosted, if you try and rush as quickly as possible, it may not be as amazing as it could be, but the defense down on top, if you get someone like Mia who can do defense down quite early on in the fight, it will obviously amplify this. This could be just a character that can get through teams that you know are not going to be a problematic team at all. So for instance, teams that would normally take maybe like 4 or 5 attacks, you can get off with Argus with just an attack and a command attack, because you can do such significant damage just off of turn 1. I'm sure there are going to be some really cool combos that some people can come up with anyway. Even if it isn't turn 1 nuke, turn 2 he's going to get the big boost from that Berserker, like I say. Now we'll move on to the signature move, and it is called Can't Look Away. It is an initial cooldown of turn 1, cooldown of 2 turns, number of uses unlimited, taunt an enemy for 2 turns, taunt 3 medic enemies for 2 turns. All enemies get minus 25% attack for 1 turn. This has the potential to be such a heavy control if you target the right character, obviously not a medic, because all the other medics are theoretically going to get taunted, unless they're running 4 medics, which obviously be very, very bad indeed. And this would be really good for Argus for his turn 2, because he gains 5 AP for every single time he's attacked, but also he'll get procs on his Berserker, and that will boost the amount of damage output that he's going to do. The minus 25% attack is actually kind of decent. It's just basically going to mean that he's going to take less damage from the enemies that are attacking him. And if he only taunts, let's say, 1 enemy, because that's the guarantee, or at least the guarantee on the proc, then obviously the rest of his team won't take as much damage just because of that minus 25% attack. And that's rarely going to be resisted, because not many people have attack down resist, especially on defense teams. Okay, so here we are off of turn 1. We're going to do the signature move this time. We're going to select someone who is not a medic. We're going to select the leader, who's a control character. We have also got 3 medics in this team, making it 4 characters that are going to be taunt attacking Argus here. And this is the best case scenario when it comes to the AP gain he's going to get. He's going to be able to get a natural turn 2 rush without a command. That's actually very important to note. It's based off of the damage he takes plus the extra 5 AP per attack. So it's a guaranteed plus 20 AP plus a little bit extra. Then you can rush naturally turn 2 with an extra 400%, up to 400% attack boost because of his Berserker. And then you can obviously take down enemies if you're lucky enough. The taunt will still be running as well, so if you take down an enemy in Outlast, for instance, Vance, he will be still taunted in this situation, so that's actually a little bit of a benefit there. You could potentially go around again, let the taunted attacks come in, command him for the next turn to get some more damage in. It's up to you how you want to roll out. So obviously this signature move pairs very well with his specialist skill. And also don't forget that if you had a character that gave an attack boost, be it from a weapon or a rush or a signature move, that would stack and multiply with that specialist skill boost as well. So it could potentially go up to massive percentages. I might do a little test at the end of the video just to see how high that can potentially go for a little bit of fun. Now we'll look at the upgrades. You can see at grade 2 it gets an upgrade where it taunts an enemy for 2 turns. So initially it isn't doing a taunt at all. At grade 4 it goes from a 3-turn cooldown down to a 2-turn cooldown. At grade 5 limit break 1 you can see upgrades where taunt 3 other medic enemies for 2 turns. This is one of the best ever limit break upgrades I've seen. And then at limit break 3 it gets -1 to starting cooldown, so it goes to a turn 1 starting cooldown. So you can do this signature move straight away to get those procs on his specialist skill as early on in the fight as possible. I think this signature move is what really has the potential of making Argus good, because it boosts his potential massively in combination with his specialist skill. Off of turn 1, if you do the rush, it's going to do a bit of damage, a bit of bleed. It's mainly against teams that are weak. This is where you know the team's good and you want to obviously build up his rush potential. You could potentially get really nice and high. Again, like I say, comboed with other characters, it could be insane. So I think this signature move so far is the big key part of his kit. You are going to be able to get it to limit break 3 straight away because you get all 5 copies like I said before. So getting this as powerful as possible is not going to be a problem as long as you hit the milestone required to get 5 copies of Argus. So next up we have Argus's mythic abilities. These are his passive skills. He has got agility because he is a damage roll character. Now he will not get a boost off of this off his signature move because he does no damage. And he will not get a boost off of this on his Adrenaline Rush because his Adrenaline Rush cannot crit, so he cannot actually get a boost from this. It will only work on his basic attack, so you might not want to think this is actually like a big priority to upgrade. Next is Eyes on Me. When attacked while battling on the attack team, 60% chance that the enemy gets taunt for 2 turns. So obviously those taunted attacks off of his initial signature move have a chance to, actually proc this and extend the taunt every time. And also the non-taunted characters, if they randomly attack him, have a chance to just be taunted for 2 turns. So not too bad at all. It only works while Argus is on an attack team, however. Now the next passive is called Right Back At Ya. And this one has been kind of tweaked a little bit. Initially, I think it was reflect 50% of damage taken to the enemy. And then if they are taunted, it reflects 50% more, making 100% reflect. I guess that couldn't be enabled, so they just changed it to 100% reflect all the time, whether the enemy is got taunt or not. This is only going to work on attacks that can crit. So if it deals damage, it's not going to work. But if it's attacks that can crit, either being multi-hits or basic attacks, on those taunted attacks especially, it's going to reflect back 100% of the damage taken. And this is just going to, bring down the bonus HP a little bit of characters, 5, 10k here. It's not too much of a big deal, but it is nice, just a little tweak. The next one is called Mad Lad. The Berserker 2 specialist skill gives this character 10% more attack per activation than normal. And we saw that before, where it went up to 400% attack boost from Berserker, where normally it would be a lot lower percentage off of 4 attacks. And that's going to massively benefit Argus and the amount of damage output he can do. Okay, so we'll attack the same team that we did before. I'll do exactly the same thing that I did before as well, where I taunt the leader in Wang Fu. He'll get 4 attacks on him from these characters. Just watch the reflect damage go back to these characters. It'll be 100% of the damage taken. It won't be huge amounts, but it'll be 100% of the damage taken. 6,000, 1,000, 2,000, and 4,000. Again, not huge amounts, just as simple as that. What I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to attack. I'm not going to do the Adrenaline Rush. And all those 1-turn taunts could be extended to 2 turns. As you saw, Vance got extended to 2 turns. Actually, every single one got extended to 2 turns, I believe. Did Davy get extended to 2 turns? I think Davy's the only one that actually ran out. The rest all got extended. Oh no, they all did. Davy's got it as well. So he's chain taunted these characters for now 3 turns, because they're all going to attack him again. We want to see if one runs out. It looks maybe like Nors did. I think Nors is the only one that ran out. So now we've still got these characters taunted. And I can taunt again. So I can taunt this character up the top. And it's going to taunt Nor again. So now I've got all 5 characters taunted. We're just going to do some basic attacks here. He actually got stunned, I think. I think he got stunned. Yeah, he did. But it's going to extend again. Some of these characters have been taunted for every single turn so far. Every single turn. I'll just do the basic attacks again. And we have got a rush coming out from Wang Fu, because he was stunned on that taunt. And it got extended again. So Vance, Davy have been taunted for every single turn so far, except Vance's just ran out. Davies is still taunted. The amount of taunt attacks you can get is kind of crazy. And I think you can see it can get even higher than 400% as well. That's 659. So lots of control potential in this character, even though he's not really a control character. Now, when we check out the upgrades on the passives, you can see at grade 1, it gets the first half of Eyes on Me. 20% chance that the enemy gets taunt for 2 turns. At grade 2, it gets the first half of Agility. 10% increase in basic attack damage. At grade 3, he gets the second half of Eyes on Me, making it a 60% chance that an enemy gets taunt for 2 turns. At grade 4, he gets Right Back At Ya Part 1. Reflect 40% of the damage to the enemy when being attacked. At grade 5, he gets the first half of Mad Lad, making it 5% extra attack per activation on his specialist skill. Then we move into the limit breaks. He'll get the second half of Agility at grade limit break 1, making it 20% increase in basic attack damage. This is the one that isn't that big a deal, honestly. At LB2, he gets the second half of Right Back At Ya, reflects 60% damage, stacks with the original one, making 100% damage total. And then in LB3, he gets the second half of Mad Lad as well. With the Berserker specialist skill, we'll get an extra 5% per activation, making it 10% total. The passives are quite nice, particularly the Mad Lad one, in my opinion. The Reflect is okay. I guess that's good for Guardian Shields. So, for instance, anyone who taunts will remove Guardian Shields. That's the only real great usage I see of that. The amount of damage that he's going to reflect generally shouldn't be too crazy, especially if teams have got like these massive 100k HP characters with bonus HP. It's not really going to make that much of a dent, honestly. But those Guardian Shields can be a problem, and it would obviously be problematic if you wanted to rush turn 2 with his big AoE rush and there was Guardian Shields all over the team. This would make it so that was less of an issue. Now the next part of his kit is going to be the specialist skill, which is Berserker 2. Whenever this character takes damage, they gain 40% attack until the end of their next turn, in addition to any existing attack increases, including prior activations of this skill. It is worth noting that he gets an extra 10%, so it'll be 50% per activation, but also this stacks with weapon buffs, it stacks with rushes, it stacks with signature moves, so he can potentially have a support character in the team that's going to boost his damage even further, and we're just about to test out how funny that can get. So attacking exactly the same team that we did before, we're going to do the signature move first to set everything up. We'll just do some basic attacks as well, and then on turn 2 we'll have a natural rush. We'll also get a natural rush on someone else. We'll get a natural rush on Thanksgiving Dale. When he rushes, he gives 100% attack to a damage roll character. Now, if it lands on Argus, who did actually get an extra attack, it looks like, from the top right-hand corner, Martinez did attack him, it's going to be massive damage output. So, does it land on Argus? Fingers crossed it does. It lands on Argus, and now he has got a 1,418% rush. So when he does his adrenaline rush now, yeah, the potential could be there for this rush. Now that was without defense down, and I think that was pretty much a best case scenario, but you can see that extra 100% boost is going to multiply so massively. 1,000% buff. Absolutely crazy. And then if you add defense down on top, even better damage on top as well. So, like I say, I think there is quite a lot of potential with this rush. You obviously have to have the right support characters around Argus to make it work, and also to, nullify certain specialist skills, be it, vengeance, that sort of thing. But if someone has bide, as long as he one-shots them, the bide can't proc. So only payback can actually be an issue. However, if you had camo on the entire team, you might see just Argus sacrificing himself every fight just to win very quickly, an absolutely fine way to go. Obviously, that's completely up to you. Now, throughout the clips in this video, you might have seen Argus healing himself, and that was based on this weapon. Argus Savage Dual Tommy Guns has a 40% attack boost, a huge bonus to AP when attacking, improved self-healing when killing a target, a 60% chance to regain 100% AP, gain 50% bonus HP, and get 50% defense for 2 turns. And then in the last slot, it's the Deadly Heal. When attacked by an enemy with this taunt status effect, this character heals for 10% of their attack stat, but won't heal himself if he is at max HP. This is how he was healing up those taunted hits. This will keep him at high HP. It is obviously very nice, regardless of if he gets only 1 taunt off or up to 4 taunts off for turn 1. He's going to keep his HP nice and high. Now, you could have a better idea on the weapon that he could have in his hands here. If you want to improve his attack stat as much as possible, that could be a way to go. He doesn't actually need a huge bonus to AP when attacking, just because, as you saw, we didn't attack for the first 2 turns and we still got his rush off multiple times in those tests. It's up to you how you want to do it, but it could be worth having a huge bonus to AP if he isn't going to be coming up against the team heavy on medics. The higher his base stats, the more those multipliers that he gets on top are going to be effective. I can tell you with those tests, it's mainly based on where you want to go with this character. Early nukes, big nukes, are going to require as much attack stat as possible. So that was a deeper look at Gold Mythic Argus, and with an actual technical preview, we get to see the potential of that adrenaline rush with the Berserker, with teammates being able to boost him. And that's not even including, like I said, defense down and other boosts that you can get. I think this is actually not too bad a character. I did see a lot of people writing him off. I would not write him off. He could definitely be duoed with like certain characters, even free-to-play ones that are more recently released, and have quite a lot of fun. But you obviously need to have certain, support characters in the team to deal with those annoying specialists on the defense team. It's up to you how you want to obviously attack teams. You could absolutely blow up teams very nice and quick. And a bit of fun just seeing how high you can get that percentage damage boost from the Berserker. Let me know in the comments down below if this has changed your mind on what you think about Argus as a character. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.